bit. I just love this bit so much when we open up the portal and all of our amazing family appear on the screen from all these different corners of our beautiful Pachamama, weaving together in this ceremony today, coming together in community to really work with and celebrate and receive from these very, very powerful, beautiful, epic and wild energies. So it's the Lion's Gate. You made it. Congratulations. Here you are. It has been quite the energetic lead up to it. Anyone resonate with that? Some weird shit's been going down. There has been very interesting things going on in the body, strange things with digestion, maybe some tingling and numbness in the fingers and toes. Maybe you've had stuff happening with your sleep, wild dreams. Anyone been experiencing some weird and wacky symptoms out there, or especially over this last week or so? Yes, it's been very, very strong. And it really began around the Mayan Day Out of Time, which is around about the 28th-ish of July. And, you know, this period, this preparation that has been leading us to this very, very powerful gateway, and it really is a gateway moment. It's an opportunity for us to step through and be reborn into yet the next level of our remembering, of our awakening, of our returning to our divine blueprint, to our divine memory, to the truth of who we really are. And as these alignments happen and leading up to these sacred times, especially now because we have this like pyramid, which is really in alignment and appropriate for where we're at, because today being the Lion's Gate is all about the star system of Sirius and the Great Pyramids. I'll talk about that in a minute. But, you know, we have this pyramid alignment that started at the end of July around that first eclipse. Then we come to the peak of it here now in the Lion's Gate portal. And then, of course, what do we have in about 4 days' time? A full solar eclipse, which is one of the reasons I'm actually back here in Ibiza to go out onto the ocean and be in full communion with Taita Inti as he makes that eclipse at about 8:30 p.m. I think it is on the 12th here. Full solar eclipse. So everything that's been leading us up until this point and what has been arriving for us has been illuminating. Remember that light doesn't create, it illuminates, right? It's been illuminating everything and anything for us to see. Perhaps you've noticed there's been old emotional stuff arising. Perhaps you've been able to see very clearly the patterns or the ways of being in your life that aren't serving you, that you just no longer want to walk forward with anymore. Perhaps there's been a feeling of, who am I and what is this that I'm doing? And like the old suit doesn't quite fit anymore. And all of these new timelines are becoming available to us. So it's also a really important choice point. What are you choosing? And when you choose it fully. Choose it with all your heart, because let me tell you, when you don't, that's when chaos happens. That's when stuff starts happening around you that can wobble you. When you make a decision and own your choices and step into it, there is no right or wrong. Every choice that you make from your heart can only be the right choice. You can always make another choice later on, but be with the choices that you choose now and be in them fully, and let yourself receive the insights, the wisdom, the opening, the manifestations, whatever might be there for you, even if there's confusion. And these energies can cause a feeling of confusion because they are so intensive and so big. And why all these weird physical symptoms, and why the feelings of like being a bit wobbled off your center or exhausted or wired or whatever it might be, because your physical body is catching up. It's exactly the same as if you come to work with myself or Maestro Puma in medicine and you go through this beautiful portal of the medicine being received in every single cell of your body, and same thing happens. It's high frequency energy. It switches on that divine remembering. It activates that dormant DNA. It activates that divine blueprint. And all of that has happened already. You've received it. But the integration period is the catching up of the body as it integrates these new but old, actually, original frequencies. It's remembering. You're not awakening to something new. You're returning to everything that's innate and true that's within you. So as we get to this Lionsgate peak, the peak of the pyramid where we are today, of course, the ancient Egyptians, and it's changed over time because we have, you know, astrology and the overlays of the New Age stuff that's going on there. But the ancient Egyptians, very much like the beautiful ancient Andeans and the people of the Andes, that really honoured and celebrated these gateway moments and these portals for the profound blessings that they brought, but also the opportunities and also the wisdom and the guidance of how to actually live life. You know, when to plant, when to sow, when to harvest, when things are coming to fruition, when it's time to rest. All of this stuff is given to us by the cosmos, but we've become really disconnected. You know, we used to look to the stars and know that that was a cosmic map and know that that map showed us how to live here on Earth. But we've become disconnected, and that's why we're a bit lost. But we're returning to that remembering of that connection, and that's again why it's so important we come together in these days. So the Lionsgate portal, as I'm sure a lot of you know, is when the star of Sirius returns and rises, just like for those of you that know about the Andean tradition of Koiliti, when the Pleiades, which is also very connected to ancient Egypt, return back into the southern skies, the night skies. Same with Sirius. So for 70 days, this number 7 is everywhere. For 70 days, Sirius hides behind the sun. He doesn't really hide. He's just so close to Taiti Inti, or to Ra, as they call it in the Egyptian traditions, that you don't see Sirius because the light is making it so that Sirius isn't visible. But then around about this time, on the 8th, I mean, we celebrated on the 8th, but like with any of these beautiful ancient alignments, they move a little bit year to year. But around this time, Sirius returns over the Giza Plateau in the pyramids and returns to the dawn sky and rises in alignment with the sun and the pyramids. And of course, I'm no Egyptologist, but from what I understand, Sirius is associated with the Queen's chamber, with the feminine aspect. And Orion is more associated with Osiris, with the King's chamber. So Sirius is Isis, the cosmic mother, the divine feminine. So it's a time of what? Fertility, of rebirth. The Nile at this time for the ancient Egyptians flooded. So it was a time for absolute celebrating the fertility. It brought to the dry, parched lands, all of the seeds that had been planted started to sprout and grow. So therefore, everything that we have been doing up until this point has been planting these seeds. And now we're consciously tending to them, we're watering them so that they can flourish and bloom and grow into the next evolution of our being as this new cycle begins from today onwards. So it's a very, very powerful, beautiful, potent time. And some of you that follow me on social media know that I've just been in Sicily, and I was up at a beautiful new star called Etna. She is a giant active volcano that has pretty much monthly eruptions of some kind. Actually, I'll show you this beautiful kuya. That's her lava. Look at that, in the shape of an egg. Maestro Puma, I have one for you. It's so incredibly beautiful. And her male counterpart is Apple Stromboli. And look at his lava. Completely different. It's like obsidian, shiny glass, yeah? So you have these masculine, feminine presence on the island, but Etna erupted only 3 hours after we were on her. But that was just the beginning. That was around a day out of time. She starts rumbling, there's lava, there's smoke, and in true, beautiful, wild, new star feminine form, Lionsgate portal, kaboom. She goes big. And if you have a look on my Instagram stories, you'll see it. I posted it there. Interestingly, it kind of looks like a yoni, like the female womb organs, and then the red, you know. And I loved it because in the comments somebody wrote, that's why we Sicilians are so passionate and fiery, because they have this relationship with Etna that's like, it's like how I see the Andean people with their apus and how I see the Balinese people also with Ogun and with their temples. There's no fear, absolute reverence, and so much gratitude for what she gives to them, for what she brings to them as a people. So nature is showing us. Nature is calling us back. And Maestro Puma and I wanted to do this gathering today to weave our ceremony and our community coming together like this collectively in with some tools to assist you in this next level of your becoming, you know. And this is the power of the sacred breath, the power of the shamanic breath. So I know a lot of you work with breath work, you know breath work, we've done breath work together. A lot of you have been in ceremony with us and you've received and you've felt how that feels to be hearing or receiving or feeling that very directed breath. And so we wanted to share a bit with you today about working more consciously with the breath, with every breath in, you know, that first breath that we take in at the beginning of life. Maestro Puma will go more into that, I'm sure. In that moment, we begin taking on the processes of our family and our community, and then largely through the rest of our lives, we're doing that unconsciously. But when you start to get conscious about what you are breathing in and where from, and then how you are alchemizing it, and then how you are sending it back out so that it becomes part of your service, your blessings to everything and everyone around you, things start to become very powerful and very directed. And that comes into alignment with that choice point that I was talking about. That's being conscious. And so this breath can really help us when we're feeling a bit wobbled, when we're feeling a bit stuck, when we feel like we need to alchemize something in our own field, or when we want to send blessings, when we have a family member or a dear one who needs some assistance, we can send a powerful blessing. We can send it out across the planet to whoever and wherever needs it the most. So for me, there's no more powerful time for us to dive into this than when these gateways are open, so that you can walk forward into this new cycle with a really powerful tool in your belt that's going to assist you in your own personal journey and healing and awakening, and assist the people that you love as well. Okay, so thank you so much for being here, everybody. I'm going to hand you over to our beloved Maestro Puma now. Buenos dias, Maestro.